In today's video, I'm going to cover the number one retirement planning mistake that we see over and over and over again in our financial planning firm. At this point, I've been in the financial industry for about 20 years. I've owned and operated a financial planning firm here for the last 10 or so. And for some reason, there's one mistake when it comes to retirement planning that people seem to make over and over and over again. So in today's video, we're going to cover exactly what that mistake is and a few ways that you can go about avoiding it in your own life. Now, let's talk for a moment about what retirement really means. When you're in your working years before retirement, you're earning money from a job, from a business, doesn't matter. That money comes into your bank account. Some of it goes toward paying your living expenses. Some of it goes toward paying your taxes. Hopefully, there's a little bit left over to where you can take that and save for your future. Maybe in a retirement account, maybe in a savings account, doesn't really matter. At some point, you have enough saved up to where you can transition away from the job. You stop working and step into retirement. And at this point, you need to pay all your living expenses from guaranteed income like Social Security, maybe pensions, maybe an annuity if you have one of those, and distributions from your savings. So during your working years, you're building wealth, you're saving a little bit, that nest egg's growing, then you step into retirement, and now you pull from that nest egg to pay your living expenses. Now, the number one mistake we see people make shows up in a lot of different ways. One variation of this is retiring from something instead of to something. You might be in a situation where you're not really sure if you're ready to retire. You don't really know what you're going to do after you quit your job. You're just really fed up or burned out or whatever the case may be, and you need to get away from your current job. That's kind of a problem, and I'll explain why here in a few minutes. Another variation of this is just having doubt. Getting to that point, I want to retire at 65. And then you turn 64 and you think maybe I should really stick around and work another year because I have less than 100% confidence that I have enough money saved up. I'm a little bit unsure about next year's election or the state of the markets or the war in Ukraine, whatever the scapegoat is. Doubt can creep in if you don't have a sound financial plan that gives you confidence. And so the number one mistake that we see is people don't go through a proper planning exercise before stepping into retirement. If you don't go through this process, which I'll describe to you in just a second, it's easy for that doubt to creep in. If you don't know exactly what's fulfilling and what you're retiring to, it's pretty easy to come up with some excuses and some reasons for working another year when you might not really want to or need to, or maybe being more conservative than you need to with your investments, or not giving money to the grandkids or charity or whatever the case may be in your life. There are a ton of reasons for that. But by going through a sound and consistent process of evaluating what you're really retiring to, what's fulfilling to you, what do you need out of your resources, and then optimizing for those intentions, doubt goes away. It's the most magical thing. And so here's basically the process that you need to go through. The first step is identifying what's fulfilling to you and what you want and need out of your retirement. So ask yourself, what is my perfect day? If you wake up tomorrow, what does the perfect day actually look like? What do you want that to look like 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road? Where do you want to live? Are you in the house that you're comfortable aging in? How much do you want to travel? How much do you want to be near family? These are all questions that you should have you don't have to have exact answers to, but you should have some idea of what you want your free time, your retirement time to look like. Because if you don't go through this process and you're retiring from something and just kind of jump into the void, that's where we get in trouble because we don't have any boundaries or guidelines or plans in place to ensure that you're not going to outlive your money, because that's a problem too. So ask yourself these questions. What's fulfilling to me? What's my perfect day look like? Where am I going to live? What do I really want out of life and need out of my resources to be happy and content? And once you have that in mind, back in to all the financial components of that. Okay, well, if you need to downsize your house, what does that look like? How much cash will that produce? What if you need to buy into an assisted living facility 25 years down the road? What does that look like? What are my cash needs? How much guaranteed income do I have coming in? Again, Social Security, pensions, annuities, perhaps. How much will I need to withdraw from my retirement accounts to supplement that in order to meet my living expense needs? And is that enough to live retirement with the right intention that I'm really seeking? Once you have that in place, optimize for taxes, figure out when and how you're going to withdraw from your retirement accounts. What are the tax ramifications of that? How can I do things like avoid Medicare premium surcharges? How can I withdraw from my tax deferred and tax exempt accounts at the right time so as not to put me in higher tax brackets down the road? How do all these pieces fit together? So once you have an idea of what retirement really means to you, what do you need in order to be fulfilled? What do you need from your resources to be happy and content? Then the answers start to become a little bit more logical. Now, as far as packaging the whole thing together, a solid financial and retirement plan should incorporate all these items. There's one really important assumption that we need to make here, though, and that's that nobody can tell what the future holds. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow, either in your life or in the lives of the rest of your family or in the financial markets for that matter. Because guess what? The values of stocks and bonds and commodities and Bitcoin and the funds that include any of those types of assets are all based on human behavior, and we're just very, very irrational creatures. So anybody out there that tells you that they know exactly what's going to happen in the stock market in the next 12 months is either lying or full of themselves to the point to where it's dangerous. So your financial plan needs to incorporate all these factors, but it also needs to incorporate the possibility that you might have a great investment experience and great returns. You might have a really lousy and unfortunate investment experience. Nobody knows what the future holds in the capital markets or otherwise, and your financial plan needs to accommodate for that. Because as soon as you have all these items figured out and lined up, you know what's fulfilling to you. What do I need for my resources to be happy and content? How am I invested? What happens in a bear market situation? Is that going to impact my cash flow? Where is my cash going to come from? What does my tax picture look like? And you know that in any market environment, you're going to be okay. That's the only way to eliminate the doubt of, should I work another year? Do I need to rebalance my investments? Maybe I should be taking less risk. What about this long-term care insurance policy? I don't know whether that's a good fit or not. Well, when you have the rest of the plan in place, those decisions become logical and relatively simple at the end of the day. This mistake we see people make over and over and over again. They just don't go through the work to create the plan, and that just creates a lot of doubt and fear and uncertainty. So go through the legwork, create the plan, and the decisions become a lot easier. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button at the bottom of the screen and subscribe to the channel to make sure that you're notified anytime we come out with something new. And on top of that, if you're not sure whether you're on track financially, you might want to check out our free Wealth Gauge assessment. There's a link for it in the comments. Basically, you click the link, you take 3 minutes to fill out some basic financial information about yourself. We take that information and run it through our financial planning software. Then we send you via email a short private video of our findings and 30,000-foot observations.